Okay, we are going to talk about fiber. So fiber's confusing for a lot of people because just like a lot of things, there's different camps. There's people who talk about fiber. You got to have 25, 30 grams of fiber a day. If you're not, it's impossible to be healthy. And then there's other people like on the GAPS diet who thinks fiber is the worst thing on the planet. And if you eat any fiber, it's horrible. And you better avoid all fiber. So again, this is one of those situations where you need to know what's going on with each person and what's going on with their body and what's going on with their digestion. Because the reason there's different people that say different things is because there's different things going on with different people's bodies. So that there's never a one way is the best for all people. So when people come in, a lot of people take fiber because it helps them go. My mom is one of them. My mom is like, she's got her like fiber soup, I don't know what you call it, but she takes flax and chia and psyllium and she's got this big tub and she dumps it in her smoothies, and as long as she does that, life is good. Like, she's happy. And if she doesn't do that, it's not as happy. So like, that really works for her. Some people, if they did that much fiber, they'd be constipated, they'd have all kinds of gas and bloating, they wouldn't be able to digest it, they wouldn't be able to handle it. So again, it depends on the person's situation. So fiber is tricky because a lot of people can't handle it, especially if they have constipation issues. They can't do bulking fibers because it'll further constipate them. A lot of people have really sensitive colons. So you think of like diverticulitis, colitis, ulcers. People will eat fiber and they'll get really gassy, really bloaty. Some people eat fiber and it diarrhea every time. Every time. They eat lettuce, they eat kale, they eat anything that has fiber in it, it blows right through them and it's uncomfortable. It sends them right to the toilet. So again, that's because they have damaged colon. So you have to look at the different situation. There's one thing I think it's really important to understand, and that's soluble versus insoluble fiber. The easiest way to understand soluble and insoluble fiber is that soluble fiber is absorbent in water. Okay, so it absorbs water, it swells up, and that's really nice because it just helps bulk stools and helps everything move through the stools. So remember, you need water, you need hydration. So soluble fiber is what I always recommend to people with damaged or sensitive colons that still want to do fiber to help them go. Now again, if you follow something like the GAPS diet, they might have you stay away from fiber at all. So again, it just depends on the situation, but soluble fiber is really good for people with, potentially good for people. Again, everybody's got to see how it works with them and maybe try it first. But if you have that sensitive colon with the diverticulitis, the Crohn's, the colitis, etc., usually the soluble fiber works best. So there's a formula we have. It's actually soluble fiber formula is what it's called, because most fibers are insoluble fiber. So again, soluble fiber absorbs water. So what absorbs water is this formula that has psyllium, acacia gum, oat bran. It's got apple fiber and apple pectin. So the main ones I know, what's that?
Would you consider chia seed like that too?
Yes.
Gelatinous?
Yes. So that's another one. That's chia seed. It's gelatinous. It kind of swells up, and it just helps things move through the colon. Chia seeds aren't going to get stuck in the colon of somebody with diverticulitis. Somebody with diverticulitis, they got to stay away from what? Nuts and seeds and things that could potentially get stuck in their colon. That doesn't happen with soluble fibers. That's why they're nice. They're wet, absorb water, gelatinous, slide on through. You can think of that like soluble fibers just slide. Hey, we just came up with a new little soluble slides. So we just made that up. So psyllium, oat bran, those are pretty good soluble fibers. For example, in bulk, we have psyllium. We have psyllium husks, and we have psyllium seed powders. The psyllium seed powder is soluble fiber. It absorbs water, it helps move through the colon. Too much of straight psyllium husk can actually be irritating to the colon for some people. So we kind of talked about soluble fiber. The other is insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber doesn't absorb water. It basically just gets into the colon, it bulks the stools, and just passes on through. And if you have a sensitive colon, that can get damaged. It's already got some damage, some ulceration, some swelling, some redness inside the colon that you may not even be able to see. As these insoluble fibers pass through your colon, your body could freak out and cause diarrhea because it's getting that out ASAP because it's hurting your colon. So insoluble fibers, things that don't absorb water, that would be like your nuts, your seeds, your lettuces, your kale. So those are things that can be very irritating to people who have sensitive colons. So most fiber formulas and most foods have a mix of both soluble and insoluble fiber. But some are going to have a lot more soluble fiber, some a lot more insoluble fiber. So again, if you do psyllium, it's going to have a lot of soluble fiber, not as much insoluble fiber. If you do nuts, they're going to have a lot of insoluble fiber and very little actually soluble fiber. Okay? So does that kind of make sense? All right.
The thing that I'm thinking is, even if you're doing soluble fiber, because of its ability to absorb water, it's really important that the person is very hydrated.
Yes, thank you.
Otherwise,
So if you're drinking,
fiber will actually constantly go.
right, so if you're drinking soluble fiber, hydration is critical anyway, but it's super, super, super critical if you're taking soluble fiber. Because if you take psyllium or some kind of a soluble fiber blend or formula and you're not drinking lots of water, it's going to go, it's just going to get stuck. Because there's no water to help it slip through. It's got to have water. It's got to absorb water to slide through. It'll absorb the water. Yeah, and then you'll get dehydrated maybe even. So you have to drink lots of water with fiber. That's really important. Okay, so we have on-the-move fiber. This is just fiber in a capsule. A lot of people don't like the powders. They don't like the taste. They just want to take some capsules. This is great. Flaxseed, slippery elm, which is a mucilaginous herb that heals and coats the intestinal lining. Ulcers, slippery elm is great for ulcers. Had a lady who had horses, and her horses would get ulcers from time to time. She'd come in, buy a couple pounds of slippery elm, feed it to the horses, the ulcers would go away. Apple pectin, psyllium, althea root, bentonite clay, aloe vera. This is a really good blend of fiber. This Fiber Mate is nice. This is a tablet. See how they advertise on here, no psyllium, flax, bran, or gluten. It's a stool softener. So there's no fiber in this. There's people trouble with fiber. Fiber doesn't do well for them, but they need to kind of soften their stools just to make it easier to pass through. This has wheatgrass, alfalfa, parsley, so a lot of greens. It has black walnut, which is nice because that's anti-parasite. Carrot, clove, aloe vera, beet, slippery elm, okra, kelp. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's a really good formula too. It says great for children, adults, and seniors. It's vegetables and herbs. It's a lot of greens. So it's more of a green-based fiber. Fiber Smart. This is a basic fiber. What's nice about this is it's a fiber to help with the bowels, but it also has herbs and other ingredients to heal the intestinal lining. So remember, intestinal is like really good for just healing the intestinal lining. This is fiber with herbs for healing the intestinal lining. So it's got flaxseed, that's the main fiber. It's got guar gum. It has the glutamine, again, which heals the intestinal lining. It has acidophilus, fennel, marshmallow root, slippery elm. Marshmallow and slippery elm are two of my favorite herbs for digestion. Triphala, and then a little stevia for taste, I guess. Triple fiber, flax, oat bran, and acacia. Psyllium free.
So the psyllium husk considered insoluble, and the psyllium seed is considered soluble?
Yes, psyllium husks are insoluble. Psyllium seed is soluble for the most part. So this is flaxseed, psyllium, and oat bran. So this would be a pretty good soluble fiber formula. This is one I regularly give people that have pretty sensitive issues. They have trouble with fibers. This one usually works pretty good. A lot of times, just to be safe, if they really have an issue with fiber and they know it, I'll give them the psyllium seed in bulk and nothing else and see how they do with that. If they do well with that for a week or two, then I'll graduate up to this. So some people you have to be really cautious.
How much do you recommend when you have them buy it in bulk? How do you recommend they take it?
The fiber I usually recommend start with a teaspoon, again with lots of water twice a day, increase to a tablespoon twice a day. A lot of colon cleanses. We'll talk about cleansing, but a basic colon cleanse is to do a tablespoon of the psyllium with a tablespoon of bentonite clay, and that'll do a really good job of cleaning out the entire intestinal tract. Sometimes people drink that 2 to 3 times a day in a glass of water for a colon cleanse. This is a colon cleanse, actually. This is Aerobic Life. This is Desert Delight. This is aloe vera capsules. Magnesium 07. Remember we talked about the oxygenated magnesium? We have another one. This is ozonated magnesium along with potassium. Aerobic Bulk Cleanse. This is a fiber powder. This is actually a 10-day cleanse. So there's a little instruction sheet right here. Tells you what to do for the 10 days, how to take each of the products, but you're going to take the aloe gels, the magnesium, oxygenated magnesium to clean out the colon, and then the fiber to help sweep and push everything through. So this is a good little 10-day colon cleanse that I recommend to people all the time. People come in and they're like, well, I want to cleanse. I don't know what to do. Where do I start? I usually start with the colon because that's the main elimination pathway of the body. So it's a good initial cleanse to put somebody on, this 10-day colon cleanse. Down here we have just your basic flaxseed, chia seeds, flax chia seed combo, your soluble fiber formula that we already talked about, and this is just straight psyllium husk. Okay, this is going to be more insoluble fiber. Super Seed by Garden of Life. Let's see what's in this. They use a lot of sprouted products. It has amaranth sprouts, quinoa sprouts, millet sprouts. So this is a lot of sprouted seeds and grains, and it has flaxseed and chia seed in it too. So this is going to have a lot of both kinds of fibers. It's going to have soluble and insoluble fiber. And then raw fiber. Yeah, I don't think I know much about this one. Flax seeds, amaranth, sunflower seed sprouts, pumpkin seed sprouts, coconut flour. That's interesting. So it's got superfoods, a lot of superfoods in with the fiber. And then at the bottom here we just have your aloes. So it's aloe vera juice. Aloe vera again means very bitter. People love aloe because it helps with digestion. You can take it before a meal. They've shown that it helps you digest your nutrients up to 3 times better, taking aloe vera juice with your meals. Aloe vera juice is a healer. So just like it heals wounds on the outside, it'll heal things on the inside of your body. So you have a damaged intestinal wall, you have polyps in the colon is common. And a lot of people are really nervous about having polyps in their colon, potentially for cancer. Aloe vera will take care of those polyps. Aloe vera will help with colitis, diverticulitis, potentially. Some people have irritation from aloe. But most people, it's very healing for the intestinal tract. So they just have to try it, try a small amount, see how they do with it. So yeah, I like aloe for a lot of purposes. This is definitely could be considered a superfood. And then there's just different, there's regular, it's bitter. Then there's a cherry one for people who want the benefits of aloe but without tasting the bitter. And then there's a stomach formula. The stomach formula is really good for, it's good for children, really. It's got a lot of gentle herbs in it to help with digestion along with the aloe. Chamomile, very soothing and calming to the stomach. It's got golden seal, gentian, which is a bitter. It's got ginger. It's got fennel, peppermint. So this is kind of a nice aloe with some nice, gentle herbs for kind of helping with digestion. It's a good formula. And then this is the herbal detox formula. So this is a good part of a detox or a cleanse with the aloe vera juice. Milk thistle, ginseng, pau d'arco, burdock root and red clover, which are really good blood cleansers. Sheep sorrel is another blood cleanser. Astragalus root, Turkey rhubarb, which will help stimulate bowel movements. Cat's claw, great for the immune system. So this is a detox aloe product. And then for those who might not want the aloe liquid or the taste of it, we have the Aloe Gold tablets. And the tablets are concentrated. It's the whole leaf and the inner gel, and it's in a concentrated capsule. So it's a large amount of aloe concentrated down. And so that's really nice. Aloe is really good for blood sugar balance too. When we get to the blood sugar kind of diabetes section, aloe is well known to help with balancing blood sugars as well. So any questions on the fiber formulas, aloe,
4 products there. Oh, the ABC Max, is that part of it?
The ABC Max was their older fiber formula that we actually, it's a good formula, but it's really more for like, I think it's good for like a parasite cleanse. It tastes kind of nasty, but it has garlic, it's got black walnut in it, it's got dandelion, it's got onion powder in it. It's kind of,
So it's more standalone.
it's more standalone. It used to be the part of this cleanse, but people didn't really like the taste of this. So now they use this one. This one's pretty good. This one I will give to people if they're doing a parasite cleanse, if they want fiber to go along with their parasite cleanse. That and the FiberMate. These would be both good fibers to go along with the parasite cleanse to flush parasites out of the system.
Okay. So the instructions are there for the 3 products?
Yes, there's a little instruction sheet for the 10-day cleanse, and it tells you what to take each day.
Okay. And do you modify your diet with that cleanse?
Do you modify your diet with that cleanse?
Well, yeah, I'm just talking about someone off the street.
Yeah, I mean,
Tell them, just lighten it up.
yeah, I always just tell people lighten it up. Drink lots of water, eat fruits and vegetables, stay away from heavy foods, packaged foods, try not to overeat meat and dairy, just lighten it up a little bit. A cleanse is always going to work better if you lighten it. And we'll talk a lot more about that when we actually get to the cleanses in the cleansing section. Alrighty? Cool.
Find my phone. I just feel like
Yeah, my feet are killing me.